back to Katrina's Creations Knitting Podcast. This is episode 46. Thank you for stopping by and joining our little knit group today. And if you are a new subscriber, and we do have some new subscribers, welcome to our knitting group. And if you have not subscribed yet, don't forget to click the little red button below so that you will get notifications. I always usually post a video on Saturdays. So yeah, join our little group, and we enjoy chatting back and forth and talking about anything yarn and knitting. So yeah, please do that. And I've got a jam-packed episode today. I've got lots and lots of things to talk about, and I've got a bunch of acquisitions, and yeah, we're going to have fun. So first thing I did want to explain, I did mention that I have some new subscribers. I think that's because I'm splitting some of my videos up, and I wanted to explain that in case there was some confusion that's been going on. If you just watch the episode, what you're watching right now, you're going to see everything, but I have also, if my video has a tutorial in it, or if it has a knit crate unboxing, I am actually separating those as well. So that way, what I'm finding is a lot of people just like watching unboxings. They don't want to watch the whole episode. And with the tutorials, if you're knitting something and you want to go back and refer to it, rather than have to go back all the way through the whole episode, yeah, you can just go to the tutorial and just see that portion of it without having to watch everything. So I've been doing that lately, and today there are going to be 3 videos showing up all on the same day because I have a knit crate unboxing. I have a tutorial. It was sort of requested. There were some questions, and so I decided to do a tutorial. I'll explain that later. And then we have our regular episode. So you will see 3 videos upload today, but if you just watch this episode, you'll see all of it. So I hope that's understandable. Anyway, yeah, let's get started. I will start with my finished objects. More dishcloths, folks. You must think I do nothing but knit dishcloths. But the fact is, I've had a lot of downtime right now at work while I'm on the road. My office is absolutely crazy. So when I'm in the office, I'm extremely busy. But our bookmobile broke down, and they're not repairing it this time. They are going to replace it with a smaller vehicle. But that takes some time to get a vehicle purchased and outfitted and all that stuff. So until that time comes, we are running around in a Jeep Cherokee with Rubbermaid tubs of books. Well, you can imagine our stops don't take as long because we don't have as much stuff for people to look at. But sometimes we can like squish some of our stops. If we finish one early, we can call and go to the next one a little bit early. But a lot of times we can't. Some of our stops have set times that they want us because it interferes with other activities. So when that happens, we're kind of stuck in between stops with not a whole lot to do. You know, we can pull our laptop up and work, you know, but I'm sitting in the front seat of a car with it propped on the dashboard trying to work. Sometimes we'll go into a nearby branch. We've done that a couple times this week and done some work there. But sometimes we're just in a place where there's nothing to do and no place to go. So yeah, I've been knitting dishcloths. So I have 2 finished. I haven't even woven the ends in, as you can see. I have 2 more finished. And I have enough to probably make another 2 or probably another 2. So all total now, I have 4 dishcloths completed and part of a 5th one. Yeah, part of a 5th one. And this yarn, this is that super, the super size that I bought of the Lily's Sugar and Cream. That's how much I've got left. So probably enough for another dish, you know, part of this, the rest of this dishcloth and part of another one. And I have enough blue to do the same thing too. So those will be for my daughter and my daughter-in-law. So like I said the other week, girls act surprised. If you've seen this podcast, just pretend to be surprised at Christmas time when I give them to you. Who knows? I might give them to you before. I don't know. Anyway, that's what I have gotten completed. Now let me show you something else that I got completed, and I just finished this up this morning. I've been working on it for the last 2 weeks. 2 weeks ago, I think it was 2 weeks ago, I did a tutorial on a basic sweater formula that I had, and I showed you some sweaters that I had made, and I will put a link to that up top here, so you can just click on the little eye and it'll take you to that. Anyway, I thought maybe if you watch the video and you just take notes, you won't need the pattern, but if you would like the written pattern on Ravelry, here it is. I finished it up. It is called Basic Sweater Formula. So it's right there. That's me on the cover. I wish it was a thinner me. It's a little bit thinner me than it used to be, but yeah. I've been working on weight loss, and so far I've hit 18 pounds and I seem to be stuck for a little bit. But anyway, this is now available on Ravelry. It is a paid for pattern just because of the amount of time it took me to, like the dishcloth pattern that was for free, I whipped out in a couple hours. But this took me like 2 weeks to put together. So it is going to be a paid for pattern if you want it. It does have a diagram inside of kind of what it's going to look like. And so the instructions are for the drop sleeved. It's not, I guess it would technically, it's not a sleeveless sweater. You're not attaching sleeves, but because the shoulder is a dropped shoulder, it almost forms like a short sleeve. So there's the pattern to do the dropped sleeve, or if you want to extend that and make it a full sleeve, both of that part of the pattern is in it. It is a $3 pattern on Ravelry, but just like all of the patterns that I have for sale on Ravelry, if you put the coupon code KC20, I'll put it down here, KC20, it will give you a 20% discount off of the $3. So that'll get you 60 cents off of it. So yeah, it'd be for $2.40. So yeah, so the pattern's there, and I will put a link to all of my patterns down in the description box below. So if you just click on that link, it'll take you right to Ravelry and right to the pattern page, and then you can just click on the pattern. So that's what I've been working on and completed this week. And now I'll show you my works in progress. I've gotten a long ways with my sweater. I got the whole back finished. My big cone of yarn that I started with, that's what I got left. I mean, there's still a good bit, and I've got a second cone of this yet. This is what I got at Peter Patch's, which I'm going to on vacation this year as well, but that's what I've got left. And let me hold this up. Here is the whole, let me roll back here. Here is the whole back. The little stitch marker is where I was last week. So you can see how far I have knit. So I wanted to bring this up close though, so you can see the mitered edges on this. I really am happy with how this looks. It is a really unique way of putting together a cardigan. I really like this pattern so far. It's been a lot of fun. It's kind of like a jigsaw puzzle. But yeah, there it is. So if I can get it close. Yeah, you can see it kind of joins in a V, and then it extends down in a straight line. So I'm now working on one of the sides, and they're the same type of construction. So, and it is a top-down sweater. The colored yarn up top here I got from last month's Knit Crate box. It's called Groovy. It is a worsted weight merino. This gold is 100% wool, but it is not a merino, and it feels like it's not a merino. But anyway, this is the yoke. This is how far I've gotten on the sides. And this is the edges. And as I explained the other week, it actually is a pattern where you kind of are knitting an L shape and you're mitering the corners. So as the miters are coming in, that's what's forming those knit togethers, the mitered edges that are forming that V in the back. So it's really a pretty sweater. I'm happy with it so far. I have been knitting on it frantically because I really would like to be able to take it with me on vacation when we go in a couple weeks and watch me go up to New England and not be cold. and I'll just be carrying around a scratchy, heavy sweater. But it'll look pretty. So I don't know. I don't know what's going to happen. I don't know if I'm going to get it done. I'm very much hoping to, but I don't know. So that's one project I've been working on. The other one, I've only been working on the washcloth and 2 other patterns this week. This is the shawl that I am making for my daughter. And I don't know how every week I go to show it and it's all tangled up. Okay, here we go. I'm just finishing up the striping, and then I'm going to be ready to put the beads on. So here is where I was last week, and I've gotten up to here, and I am mid-row, so it's kind of hard to open this up all the way and show it to you. I don't know why I do that. You think I'd finish a row so I could show everybody, and it never works out that way. But anyway, here's the rest of it. And this is my banner unfurled shawl. It's more like a shawlette. It's not a real deep shawl. It's more like something you just want around your neck. So, and in case the colors, they're showing up pretty good. They are light baby pink, like a real powdery pink, and then 2 shades of gray. And the beads that go on it are the pink. They're kind of an iridescent pink, and it's going to go in one of these light sections, not the dark gray, but the light section. So this is the light section. It's going to show up there. So I also am working on another shawl design, but I didn't work on it at all this week. Because like I said, I've been frantically trying to get this sweater done. My husband keeps going, do you think you're going to get it finished? I'm like, I don't know. Let me just keep on knitting fast. And yeah, so we'll see. I've got a little bit of time, but I don't know. There's no guarantees on that one. So let me see, what else do we have? Oh yes, we have the Knitology, which is part of Knit Crate, and that came in this week, and I think it came in Tuesday. There was no way I was going to wait till Saturday to unbox it. I wanted to see it right away. So I'm going to insert the unboxing right here, and then we will talk about it afterwards. So, there is the box. I have not opened it yet. So, we're going to open it together. And let's hope I like it this month. So, see, using my scissors, slitting it open. And I will try to open it up without dumping things out. I seem to have, out of the 3 that I've done, this is the 4th box. 2 of them I've managed to open up and spill all the contents onto the floor. So let's try it and look together. And I did it again. Wait a minute. All the coupons fell out. But it's just the coupons. Haven't seen the yarn. The coupons fell out. Okay. Let me feel in here. Just make sure nothing else is going to come flying. Okay. Feels interesting. I feel like I'm doing one of those parties where you stick your hand in a bag and try to figure out what you're touching. Oh well. Here we go. You all are seeing it before I am. Okay, I'm looking. Ooh. Oh. Okay. I like the color. Let's see what we've got. This is a real chunky knit. I'm not a chunky knit person. This is chunky weight. 80% superwash merino, 20% nylon, 80 yards. And that's pretty true to color. It is a kind of a salmony, pumpkin-y color. Don't think it's even tonal. Let's open it up and take a look. Let's de-skein it. Do we see any tonals in there at all? No, not so much. I do know what I'm going to do with this pattern now. I just got a pattern by the Cozy Up with the Stitchin' Sisters, and it is called their Christina. Hang on, I've got it right on my desk over here. Here we go. The Christina Button Cowl. And if I remember rightly, it calls for 140 some yards. And if this is 80 each, that should work. And I know it calls for chunky. Super bulky, which is what the 160 yards, I will have just enough. So, yeah, here's what the pattern looks like. So, I think that's what this is going to become. In some lights it looks tonal, but when I hold it over in the bright light, it really doesn't. It's kind of a pumpkin-y salmon color. Although I do see some darker colors in there. Again, not what I was kind of expecting. I was thinking that the Knitology yarn was more fingering weight. Oh well, but this is extremely soft. I'll hold it up to my neck because this is where it's going to be going. Yeah, so that'll work. Okay. And I have actually some, well, I show some wooden buttons on here. The buttons are just decorative. Yeah. I actually have a pin that has a pumpkin on it that I might put instead of the buttons. We'll have to see. But I have been wanting to knit this pattern, and I am not a super chunky knitter. And so this actually will be just what I need in order to do it. I do have to say it is really soft, and it looks like it's a very light twist. See if you can see this. Yeah, there you go. It looks like a 2-ply, but it is a very light, it's not tightly twisted, which is probably part of the reason why it is soft. So let's see what else is in the box and what it says about it. September, cold weather will be here before you know it. You can help keep newly arrived refugees' hands warm with mitts, mittens, and gloves. So this is the September box. From Knit Crate. Let me see what the other things are in here say. It's their regular, whenever you get Knit Crate, it gives you a little box. So you can win a Knit Crate $50 gift box. You have to take a picture of yourself holding up your Knit Crate and sharing it as a tag on Facebook, or Instagram, or Pinterest, or Twitter. So, yeah, that's always in here. And let's see what the other box says here. This is called Couture by Knitology. This color is called Ruby. I wouldn't think of it as ruby. It's more like salmon. Between salmon and pumpkin, I think, myself. But, yeah, 80 yards, 100 grams. Retail value is $24 a skein. And then it gives you some coupon codes, which I can't share, of course. But it does give you some coupon codes for some other Etsy shops. Yeah, and some Ravelry patterns. So, there's what it looks like there. So, yep, this is the September Knit Crate box. Thanks for watching. On the back side, I'm now working on the wrong side, and I'm knitting back across. The front side has my yarn overs and my knit 2-togethers. You can see them right here. These are the yarn overs. This is the knit 2-togethers. The yarn overs tend to have a slant to them. And you want to follow the pattern that you are using. If this is, in this case, this shawl is all done in garter stitch. So therefore I'm going to use garter stitch all the way across the back. But some shawls or blankets will have a stockinette stitch on the right side. So in that case, you would knit the border stitches on each side, on the front, on the decrease and the increase side, and across the back part you would purl until you get to the border here. But in this case, it is just strictly a garter stitch. So I am going to finish this across. As you can see, if you were going to just put one row of eyelet stitches, then this would be the end of it. You would turn around to your front side and you would just pick up the garter or the whatever pattern it is you're knitting from at that point, and you would just have one row of stockinette. And I will show you that in just a second. I'm almost done this row, and then I can show you what it would look like. Okay, let me turn it around here. This is the right side, and as you can see, you now have your eyelet stitches going across. You have one row of eyelet. You could pick up on the next row here and just begin doing the garter stitch like what is here, and you would just have one row. But if you want multiple rows like it is here, then you're going to continue with this eyelet pattern, but one row will be even, one row will be odd, and you'll have that extra stitch to deal with. Not a fan at all this time, to be honest. I'm going to show it to you again just because the lighting is a little bit better up here than where I opened it at. Here is the yarn, and that is pretty true to color. They call it ruby. I would say it's more of a cross between a pistachio and salmon. There's slight little spots of tone, you know, where the color changes very, very slightly, but it's ever so slightly. So it's kind of a strange color. I mean, it's not a not pretty color. I mean, it's pretty, and it's a color that, you know, would be a color that would go okay with me, you know, but I'm not a chunky knitter, and this yarn only has, this was the part I think I got a little frustrated with, because the Knitology box is $33.89, I think, a month. I mean, that includes shipping. But this is only 80 yards. So the two together, two skeins, because they always send you two skeins. The two skeins, it's only 160 yards of super weight, chunky weight yarn. That's not much yardage for the price. So yeah, wasn't real happy with that part. So what happened, I actually went on to Knit Crate and I canceled this box because last month the groovy yarn, it just so happened it worked out that I had a yarn I could put it with, but if that hadn't happened, I would have kind of not known what to do with that yarn because it's not something I ever would have bought for myself. So I canceled the Knitology box. Now I am in the process, there is another box that they have that's actually a little cheaper. They have one that's only like $19 or something, but I think it's only one skein of yarn. And I wasn't too much interested in that, but they have another box that's called Knit Crate Membership Box. And it's roughly, I think it's $24.99 a month, and it includes 2 hand-dyed skeins of yarn. That one I think I'd be more interested in, you know, because I'm just not a chunky knitter. I can show you what I'm going to make with this, though. I downloaded this pattern from Cozy Up with the Stitchin' Sisters a couple weeks ago. They offered it for free at the time. I don't think it's free anymore. It was just a limited time pattern. And so I downloaded this cowl, and I think I'm going to make it with this because it has just, as long as I'm very careful, I've got just enough yardage for this. So I am going to use this, but it's not something I would have gone out and bought, especially since I could go onto Craftsy and get it like for $9.10, and it's 100% merino. This is an 80-20. It's 80% merino, 20% nylon. So yeah, I'm still trying to get the box switched over to the $24.99 one. I haven't gotten a response so far from Knit Crate, which is kind of surprising because I thought they had really good customer service. So I don't know if there's, you know, problems out there or what. So anyway, I will keep you posted on that, and hopefully I can get the other subscription box started, because I looked at things that were in that box over the last past few months, and I liked what was in it a little bit better. So that's what's going on with the Knitology. Now, I'm going to talk about some other acquisitions. I got a free pattern. I have seen people on other podcasts talk about this sweater for a while. I just kind of assumed it was a paid for pattern. And then I heard somebody say they got it for free. I don't know if it's just free for a limited time or what, but it is from Tin Can Knits. It's called the Flax Night. There it is. You can make this sweater in anywhere from infant up to a 4XL. So yeah, it fits just about anybody. And yeah, so I'm excited to try it. And yeah, so that was one of my acquisitions. Again, that is called the Flax Light. And I don't think there is a better picture of this. It's pretty much a basic sweater. It has a little detailing on the arms. So yeah, so I'm excited. I have some yarn I'm thinking about. I've got to go through and look to make sure my yardage is going to add up with this, but I have some ideas for it. So when I come up with what yarn I'm going to use, I will let you know. So I have that acquisition. Then I was all excited about this. Look at this itty bitty little camera. It's literally, I mean, there's my size of my hand. Look at the size of that. And I have little hands. I have to wear child size gloves. I have little hands. It's only maybe 3 inches by 1.5 inches. Now you may be going, what in the world is that camera? I got this off of eBay. It's a vlogging camera. I've been wanting to be able to take you guys with me on trips. Like the upcoming vacation, you guys are going to go with me on it. I just have to practice using it. Yeah, now you can see. Look how tiny that thing is. It looks like a toy. But anyway, it has a wide angle lens, so I've played with it a little bit. It's like really wide scoped, even though it's a tiny little lens there. So I got this with the purpose of being able to take this on vacation with me, and while we're traveling around Connecticut and Rhode Island and seeing all the coastal prettiness and the sights of Newport and all the big mansions and everything, thought I'd take pictures for you guys. But I also thought, you know, I'm hitting a lot of yarn shops. Thought I would use this too. So yeah, I'm adding this to my technical arsenal. So that sounds so important, doesn't it? But it's really not, because I haven't even figured out how to use it yet. But it sounds pretty simple. And it came with tons and tons. I mean, tons and tons of attachments that I could put on this. I can't even hold all the attachments. I don't even know what they all go to. This is supposed to be a camera for a sports, or it's a sports camera. This is not even all of them. I just can't I can't hold all of them. There are all kinds of attachments that I don't know how they attach. And at most, I'm not going to use it for sporting events, but the camera apparently is meant to, you can mount it on your helmet. That's not going to happen. You can mount it on your bike. Now I have ridden a bike in the last couple of years. It was not pretty, and the neighbors got a good laugh out of it. So we're not repeating that. We actually gave the bikes to my daughter and son-in-law. But anyway, apparently you can put it on your helmet and ride a bike or ski. That's definitely not happening. And I think the funniest thing is it comes with an underwater case, just in case I want to film myself knitting underwater. Yeah. Definitely, again, not going to happen. So I'm not probably going to use a lot of these attachments, even if I figured out what they were for. But the vlogging part alone, I think, will be exciting because I can take you guys with me different places. So I'm very excited about that. And then, as I've mentioned earlier in the video, I work for a library. And when books don't circulate for a while, they get pulled if they haven't been checked out after like a couple of years. So guess what? There were some knitting books. Can you imagine? Knitting books that somebody did not check out. They came to live with me, where they will definitely get used. So a friend of mine passed this on to me and said, I know you knit, so when they got withdrawn, I thought about you. So I'm going to share with you the books that I got, because I think they're kind of neat. Some of these might go to live at my daughter's house, because they're more kid related, but they're neat books. This one is all about knitting bags. It is called A Knitter's Dozen Bags, and they are all kinds. Some of them are felted. Some of them, let's see if I can show you some. Like this one is a felted bag, where you knit it with wool, and then you intentionally shrink it, and it causes it to felt. So they've got, I really like this one. It's got rivets. Not like a frog, not ribbits, but rivets. Yeah. But then they've got some that are just plain knitted, like this one. And they've got this really cool backpack in the back. Let me pull this. They have a cute little drawstring tote, too. I liked that one. Like a shopper's tote, because it got bread in it. But this other one, here it is. Is that pretty or what? It's like a patchwork. There's another picture of this that might be better. It looks like it's the same stitch, but it's made to look like it's a patchwork backpack. There it is. Somebody's on their back. Is that cool or what? So I really like that one. I might have to make it. So this one has, like I said, it's got 12 different handbags in it. And I love handbags. It's my one downfall, or my vice, besides buying yarn. But then there's this one. This is by, I didn't tell you who this one is by, did I? Does it say? It just says our books. I don't see. Might be all different. It has a bunch of different contributors to it. So there's numerous authors involved with this one. This one is by Lucinda Guy. It's called Knitting Motifs for Babies and Kids. And this one is cute because it is strictly motifs. Like, here you go. It shows you how to put the pattern on to get, like, here's little birds, and here's little hearts with little flowers. So there's all different types of designs, and it shows you how to do it. Like, here's a car with a trailer, and there's some trucks. So you get the idea. But it's really cute. Like I said, this one might go to live at my daughter's house. So, but I thought that was cute. And if she doesn't want it, then I might offer it to somebody in my knitting group. The next one, this is definitely mine. I've actually made one or two of the patterns out of this that I bought someplace else. But this is Knit Along with Debbie Maycomer. Debbie Maycomer, if you are not familiar with her, she writes a lot of books, but she has one series called The Shop on Blossom Street, which is about a group of knitters, and all of her books. She's not one that I've read, because I tend to like the mysteries. So these aren't mysteries. These are more like, I don't know if you consider them like light romances or what, but she always includes patterns in with her books. And I have made, let's see if I can find it. The very first baby blanket that I made for my grandchildren was this one right here. It's got like a little lace edge along here, and you actually weave a ribbon in. Now, when I put the ribbon in the bottom, I actually sewed it in place because I got afraid of it getting loose and getting around the baby's neck. But the one I knitted for my first grandchild, which was my granddaughter, was yellow, and it was this pattern. So yeah, there's all kinds of baby blankets in here. I've done this pattern also. This is called Lydia's Baby Cables. And the first one, I didn't tell you what the name of it was. It was called Only the Finest for Amelia. So it is all kinds, I think it's all Afghans. Yeah, it looks like it's all different kinds of Afghans. So, yeah, this one's staying with me because, yeah, I like it. I've done the patterns and they're well written, and I've always enjoyed them. And it is a leisure arts publication. So, yes, that's one I like. And then there was another one. This is one that also I'm probably going to keep. I'm not sure. I have to look. I have several like knitting dictionaries. So I need to look through them to see if this has the same information. If it does, then I'll pass it on to somebody else. But it is called Knitting School, the complete course. And let me see if it says who it is by. It's by Sterling Publishing Company. Apparently it was done in a different language originally because it says it was translated by Kelly Ramke and Maria Elena Sendovici. But it shows you all different kinds of knitting techniques, like how to change the shape of the band of your neck, like, you know, the collar, if you want to do a round collar or a V-neck collar. Tells you how to do different wristbands. So it has all different types of knitting techniques for changing around your pattern. So in other words, if you were to knit the pattern that I have for sale in Ravelry, but you don't like the boat collar that it has, boat neck collar, and you want to put a different collar on it, this would tell you how to do it. So, yeah, so I thought this was exciting. And then I have one more, and this one is called Undercover 60 Afghans to Knit and Crochet. Now, I'm not a crocheter. I tend to not be able to get one side straight. It's like one side looks straight, the other side kind of wobbles all over the place. But I really like the one that's on the cover. Isn't that pretty? The colors in it. It's got kind of a green and a tan and a white. And I just like the rounded edge, like right in here. I really like this one. But it's crocheted, so who knows? I might have to brush up on. I know how to do basic crochet skills, but I can do granny squares. That's about the extent of my crochet ability. I tried doing like a wavy pattern, and it wasn't only waving across the pattern, it was waving up the pattern. It was not a good experience. So let me show you some of the things that are in here. This again is one of those books that I like the type of binding it has because it's a spiral bound, which means when you lay it flat, it actually stays flat and you don't have to fight the book the whole way through while you're looking at the pattern. So it has lots of throws, and it's kind of a mix. It actually even has some mixture of cross stitch in here. Look at this one. This is gorgeous. Look at this middle one here. Right there. Oh, see if I can get the lighting a little bit better. Yeah, it's still not great. But... okay, well, I guess you'll have to take my word on it. It's harvest colors, like fall colors. And it's all, it reminds me of a quilt. Kind of like diamond shapes. So it has, oh, here's a better, here it is. There's the picture of it. So I really like that. It's kind of all bunched up. It's not that strangely shaped. It's actually a rectangular, but they've just got it kind of folded over on itself. But I really like this one. So, and this one is a knit. No, it's not. Why is it everything I like in this book is crocheted? Oh well. Like I said, might have to break down and learn how to crochet, but there's a lot of stuff in here that are granny square based. So yeah, this is a nice one too, and it's, like I said, 60 Afghans to knit and crochet, and it's called Undercover. So that is my acquisitions for this week. Oh, and something I didn't tell you, next Saturday, weather permitting, I'm going to use my little camera, and my daughter and myself, and I think all the kids are going with us. If the weather is good, there is a alpaca farm not too far from us, and they actually teach some of the 4-H that one of the 4-H groups is one that my granddaughter is in. So I think my daughter said my granddaughter is going to be demonstrating something at this event. But anyway, this alpaca farm is having like a farm fest day where you can go in and see the alpacas, and they have a gift shop, and she also spins yarn and she dyes yarn. So there's yarn and there's fleece and things like that to buy and to look at, and finished projects to look at. So it sounds like a lot of fun. And like I said, weather permitting, we are going to go. If you want to check out where it is we're going, the name of it, they do have a website. It's called Quarry Critters, and I'll put it right down here so you can see how it's spelled. But if you go and look on their website, you will see cute little alpacas. And yeah, so anyway, she sells yarn as well. And I think my local yarn shop also carries her yarn. It just sounds familiar, and I seem to remember us talking about it when I was there the other week. So, weather permitting, I'm going to go there next week, and I'm going to take you guys along with me. I just have to figure out how to make the camera work between now and then you guys can see the cute little alpacas, and we'll look at the yarn shop and all that stuff while we're at it. So, now we're on to a every time I get to try to say that, it sounds like a turtle instead of tutorial. So, I will try to pronounce it correctly this time. We are having a tutorial. Now, I was talking with Kathy, one of our subscribers, and she was asking me, like, if you're making a plain shawl that doesn't have any patterning to it, you want to break it up a little bit just to kind of make it look nice, just to give it something a little different in the pattern. How can you add some eyelet lace? So I thought, maybe I'll add that in. And it's funny because I was watching, I'm trying to think, her name is Chrissy. She does snappy stitches. She spins and she knits and things. And she showed a shawl that she had made. And it was funny because she made the same comment. The shawl had a beautiful lace edge to it, but she said it didn't have anything in between, and so she put a couple rows of eyelid in it just to give it some interest. So I thought I would show you, for example, what I'm talking about. This is the Hitch-Hiker shawl that was very popular a few years ago. It is an asymmetrical shawl, but it's all done in garter. It's a very simple pattern to do. It's very versatile. It has these like teeth edges on it, and I just attached little beads to it because I thought it looked pretty, just to give it some interest. I've made a couple of these shawls, actually. Made some for my daughter and my daughter-in-law last year for Christmas as well. So anyway, as you can see though, this does not have it. There's no break in the pattern. It's just strictly garter. So if you were to have a shawl like this and you wanted to put a lace edging, like an eyelet row across here, just to give it a little character, because you're getting like bored out of your mind doing garter stitch, because some shawls, they look beautiful, but after a while you just get sick of total garter stitch. I'm going to show you how to do it. Okay, so if you stay tuned, the tutorial will start right about now. Alright, this is an asymmetrical shawl, and as you can see, I have done some other stitches on this in Eyelet. Here's some in gray, and then further down here are some in pink. There's several rows of Eyelet that make up the pattern in this shawl. Now, when you are doing something that's asymmetrical or triangular, you're going to have an even row and then an odd row. So the even rows are not a problem. In this case, the beginning with an asymmetrical shawl, you have an increase on one side and a decrease on the other. For this particular pattern, it is knit, front, back, and front, all into the same stitch. So there are my 3 stitches. From here until the last 3 stitches all the way across, it is simply going to be yarn over and knit 2 together. Again, yarn over and knit 2 together. Yarn over and knit 2 together. So the yarn overs will form where your holes are, and the knit 2 togethers will be the spots in between it, like the bars in between the yarn overs. So I'm going to go all the way across, and then I will show you if you have if it's an even number that you're going to end on, it's not a problem. But if it is an odd number, you run into creating an extra stitch if you aren't careful. So I'm going to knit all the way across this, and then I'll show you what happens. Alright, I am on my right side again. I have completed one row of eyelet. This is my second row of eyelet. My first row ended in even stitches. So I knit back across, and I have done, you can see that this is the knit togethers, this is the yarn overs. Like I said, they are always slanted. This is going to be an odd row where I'm going to have that odd extra stitch. So I'm going to knit over there and show you what happens here. We have yarn over, knit two together, yarn over, knit two together, yarn over, and this is where I would have a problem because my decrease on this end, this is still the right side of my fabric. This is where I'm going to do my decreases. My decrease is one stitch here knit, these two stitches knit together. If I do this stitch as a yarn over, I'm going to have an increase of a stitch. So what do you do when you have that happen? In this case, you do not do the last yarn over. You've got, right here, you have a yarn over, you have knit two together. This stitch here, that is the spare stitch, you're just simply you're not going to yarn over, you're just going to knit that stitch and then do your border row, which in this case is knit two together and knit one. And if you look down through some of my other eyelet lace in here, it really doesn't show when you have that odd number show up. You can see it in a couple places where it's just slightly thicker here. But like I said, if you had done the yarn over and do that one stitch, you have increased a stitch instead of decreased, which means instead of your work slanting this direction, it's going to go out this way or go straight up, because you wouldn't be decreasing, so you're not going to have this slanted angle. So like I said, when you have an odd number, you're just going to not do the yarn over and just knit it as one stitch and then do your ending. And then when you turn it over, you're just going to simply knit it back across. On the back side, I'm now working on the wrong side, and I'm knitting back across. The front side has my yarn overs and my knit two togethers. You can see them right here. These are the yarn overs. This is the knit two togethers. The yarn overs tend to have a slant to them, and you want to follow the pattern that you are using. If this is, in this case, this shawl is all done in garter stitch, so therefore I'm going to use garter stitch all the way across the back. But some shawls or blankets will have a stockinette stitch on the right side. So in that case, you would knit the border stitches on each side, on the front, on the decrease and the increase side, and across the back part you would purl until you get to the border here. But in this case, it is just strictly a garter stitch. So I am going to finish this across. As you can see, if you were going to just put one row of eyelet stitches, then this would be the end of it. You would turn around to your front side and you would just pick up the garter or the whatever pattern it is you're knitting from at that point, and you would just have one row of stockinette. And I will show you that in just a second. I'm almost done this row, and then I can show you what it would look like. Okay, let me turn it around here. This is the right side, and as you can see, you now have your eyelet stitches going across. You have one row of eyelet. You could pick up on the next row here and just begin doing the garter stitch like what is here, and you would just have one row. But if you want multiple rows like it is here, then you're going to continue with this eyelet pattern, but one row will be even, one row will be odd, and you'll have that extra stitch to deal with. There will be 3 of them showing up this week, 1 for the tutorial, 1 for the Knitology unboxing, and 1 for this episode. But if you just watch the episodes, you see all 3 of them. So I hope you've enjoyed this episode. If you have, give me a thumbs up. If you haven't subscribed, click the little red button below, and I will see you again next week, hopefully with some alpacas along. Have a great week. Bye.